this is a bit of a cruel experiment in which what you do is a rapid reaction of the rat to stress caused by fracture of tibiofibula. Okay. So, I do not like the experiment anyway. So, they did this experiment. Okay. So, the bone was artificially, and then what did you do? You collect the adrenal sample, okay, at different time or and adrenal cortisone concentration. Are you with me? And then you map the and then you find that this is a this are we are talking of seconds, and then from minutes, and by about 5 or 6 minutes you find what? What do you find? What is your observation? It is there. What is your observation? In about 6 minutes, in about 6 minutes the steroid concentration has gone up, and then you estimate another hormone, corticosterone, you monitor this in the plasma and you find that this has also gone up in about 6 minutes. Okay. So, stress of this is, so in the we made a general statement. Now, here is the experimental evidence, okay, that, and what was the stress given here? Fracturing a particular bone, and actually the weight of the adrenal gland from 4 grams can go to 10 grams. What did I say? Given time, 3-4 days, the adrenal cortex really becomes very large. If you take the histological sections, you find that the far more cells are proliferating. The mitotic figures, are you with me? Hello, you can see far more mitotic figures in the, and of course the steroid hormone levels in the. So now here is a very interesting slide that gives us an overall response to stress. Now look at the image on the left. What is this? This is our very familiar experience. What experience? You are being chased by a dog. You remember that experiment? And the instant response is what? By the adrenal, by the sympathetic nervous system. Hello? Response by what? Sympathetic. Now I am not talking of adrenal cortex. Now I am going to talk about adrenal medulla. What am I going to talk about? Adrenal medulla, because adrenal medulla is essentially a component of what? Sympathetic nervous system. What is it? Sympathetic nervous system. So let us have so this is a stress, any form of stress from the brain. Okay. So your cortex or the higher cognitive centers are the first to experience it, and then take the information down the medulla oblongata and then down the spinal cord at the level of thoracolumbar. Hello, at the level of what? Thoracolumbar. Why is the word thoracolumbar important? Because it is the other name for? It is the other name for the sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is also known as thoracolumbar. Everybody, thoracolumbar. You are still within the class and I am still your teacher and still I am here. Okay. So what is it? Thoracolumbar. So and from the thoracolumbar you will have a, so here somewhere you will have neurons. The neurons will come out of the ventral root in the spinal cord and they will go into the medulla. They will go where? Into the medulla, and in the medulla, now here is a question for you. In the medulla, this neuron is releasing what particular neurotransmitter? Very good. Say that loudly. Acetylcholine. What is the neurotransmitter? Acetylcholine. So will these neurons, and these neurons we have already seen is nothing but a ganglion. It's a sympathetic ganglion, and it will release it will receive acetyl. So does it have acetylcholinergic receptors? It does, nicotinic kind, and then in response it will release what? Epinephrine and norepinephrine. What will it release? Epinephrine. Epinephrine is about 80%, 20% is about norepinephrine, and that will go into the blood and it is coming. And what are the effects that we get? Let us see here, we have done it, let us do it again. What I can read here, what increased heart rate, we know that immediately we will have in seconds, and then what? Increased blood pressure, liver converts glycogen to glucose, the dilation of the bronchi. What is the aim here? Why do this drug? See why does you see? We talked about the effect of adrenaline, okay, or epinephrine on what? On the smooth muscles of your trachea, okay, they relax. What is the purpose behind this? So as to facilitate the, okay, and then what? Changes in the blood flow pattern and the increased metabolic rate. The profound effects that you will get within seconds, okay. And we also know that the biological half-life of those two hormones epinephrine is very short. Whereas these are the effects of stress that you will get in the short term. Now let us see what are the effects that you will get in the long term. Okay. And then the effect from the higher cognitive centers which have perceived the stress on you from the brain, the information will go to the hypothalamus. In the hypothalamus, the information will be received by that set of neurons that is secreting CRH or CRF, whatever. Okay. What is CRH in terms of chemistry? It's a peptide hormone. It is a very good. It's a peptide hormone. It will be released. It is rapidly synthesized and released, and then it will go to median eminence. Am I okay there? From median eminence into the pituitary at the level of ACTH cells, act on the ACTH cells, ACTH into the blood, and then it will act on the. It will act. So the ACTH is coming this way. It will act on the cells of which layer? Which layer? And then it will release what hormone? Say glucocorticoids. Okay, and the glucocorticoid, let me read now what author has given. Proteins and fats converted to glucose or broken down for energy, which means again gluconeogenesis, and then what? Increased blood glucose and suppression of immune system. Suppression of immune system is another interesting point about which. So this slide is interesting because I want you to really appreciate and understand as to what are the changes how does our physiology coordinate so as it helps us to meet a challenge. And in this particular case, the challenge has come in form of some stress. Yes, please.
We face stress in terms of pathogenic invasion then, like is it different from?
It is whether it is pathogenic, whether it is bacteria, virus, whatever, it is a stress. And of course, your immune system will respond, but the cortisol will also come.
It's like suppresses immunity.
The answer to that question is very interesting, very interesting. In short term, cortisol in low doses, it stimulates the immune system. Low doses of cortisol in short term stimulates immune system. Okay, so what you do, you hammer here or give a cut here on your finger, you give a cut. So immediately the damaged tissue will release a lot of cytokines. They will do many things, including making the capillaries permeable to the neutrophils, and to the and those cells will come out, and the plasma will come out, and I'll get swelling on this on the surrounding tissue, and then those immune cells are excited so that they can take care of any bacterial infection that will happen. Typical immune response will be generated, and to some extent that is being supported by the cortisol, but with the passage of time, the cortisol starts to suppress the immune system. That's very interesting. Why does it suppress the immune system? Because the immune system has also got a tendency, that is not actually immune system. In the design of our physiological systems, there is generally the biological systems generally give what they call as an over response. Are you with me? Therefore we have other systems which suppress it. Okay. So the purpose of cortisol is to make sure that the response of immune system itself. I'll tell you what. Listen to this. You have inflammation of the tissue. Are you with me? What is inflammation? Swelling of the tissue. Why is the swelling of the tissue? Because the plasma has come out of the capillaries. Now, once the plasma is, as long as the plasma is in the blood and it's in the capillaries, it flows and we have no problem. Once it comes out, it stagnates there. Once it stagnates there, it swells there. Okay, and it causes a lot of pain and distress. Okay, so far. Now often the distress because of the swelling is worse than because of the infection. Are you getting the argument? In such a scenario, our own cortisol comes to our help and suppresses the immune system, okay, or keeps the immune system in control, okay, so that it doesn't go, so that we don't have the excess of inflammation. Now, however, in long run, you see, as observed by, so here is Appreciate this diagram. We are looking at the lymphatic system. Yes or no? Are we are looking at all the lymph glands we are looking, and the lymph glands we know the lymph nodes, and lymph nodes the T cells, B cells, and the entire immune system is there. All right. However, as the stress exceeds beyond a particular time limit, which may be half an hour, which may be 1 hour, whatever, the cortisol starts as a what is the effect of cortisol on skeletal muscle? Break down the proteins. It starts having a similar function on the immune system. Did I make my point? Cortisol has effect. What effect? Bringing down the proteins, digesting the proteins in the skeletal muscles and driving the amino acids to the liver. Cortisol will have identical effect on the immune system. Means what? Bring down the proteins. Means what? Your immune system is now what? Your immune system is compromised. Your immune system is what? Immune system is compromised. It is greatly compromised. Please remember, cortisol as its level goes up over a period of time plays a key role in the suppression of the immune system. Now, this physiological role of cortisol, a question is coming, has a great application. Can somebody give me an example, justify the statement?
Organ transplant.
Organ transplant. What is it?
Organ transplant.
Can you please read there at the bottom? Corticosteroids have played a key role in what? Immunosuppression in what? Organ transplant. Okay, so we have a host range of. You remember yesterday I talked about synthetic corticosteroids, dexamethasone. You remember? Hello, you don't or you do? Okay. I said that these are naturally occurring corticosteroids, and then people have played with the steroid molecule and put some OH group there, and what all things chemistry people can do, and they have come up with a huge hundreds of actually, and some of them are and host of them are being used to. I'll talk more about it in one of the slides. Okay. The glucocorticoids cause rapid mobilization of amino acids and fats that we have already done and making them available for the. Okay. So now let's see. So this is what I was talking about. This is a normal situation. There is suddenly there is a wound, and the neutrophils and the WBCs are still in the capillary network, but eventually, say after 15 minutes, there is inflammation as a result of the WBCs have gone out, and then there is cytokine, and then you have, so this is the earlier capillary in normal circumstances. Then you can compare it with the now. So, what are we looking? We are looking at the response of a tissue that is being damaged, okay, and the immune system is now reacting to the likely damage or likely infection. What are the responses? Release from damaged tissue of chemical substances, an increase in the blood flow, leakage of large quantities of plasma, infiltration of the area by leukocytes, etc., etc. Now, why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about this? Because here is what cortisol does to the inflamed tissue. Hello, are you with me? What am I talking about? Cortisol is your own remedy to the damage and inflammation that is inflicted because of any wound or any infection or any stress. Look at the first point is so important, I want you to remember it. Cortisol stabilizes the lysosomal membranes. You see, any cell, okay, let's see, there's a cut here. Hello. There is a cut here. Okay. So, the cells in the immediate vicinity of the cut are damaged. Okay. They are damaged. So, they are damaged means they will release their lysosomes. Now, they are apoptosing. Are you with me? Now, just look at it. There is one cell which is apoptosing and there is another cell. Now, for the another cell, the environment of that cell is damaged. Hello. There is one cell which is completely damaged, and this is the second cell. Is the second cell damaged? No, but the cell in its vicinity has damaged. Okay, and that itself, and when a cell is damaged, it uses a lot of oxygen. Okay, as a result of that, it may damage the second cell, and the second cell may release lysosome, and the third cell may release, and the fourth cell, and the effect can go on for a long time. Are you with me? It's a cascading effect. One cell damage, but then the cortisol will go maybe to the fourth or fifth or cell, and then it will do what? Read the point number 1. Are you with me? Okay, so the tissue, the possibility that the tissue will, so okay, that's one. Cortisol decreases the permeability of the capillaries, so thereby reducing the inflammation. Cortisol decreases both migration, so you can read the n number of things which the cortisol can do to prevent the damage of the so these are the, this is the glucocorticoids. What is the effect that it has on the different types of immune cells. Now, this is a very interesting slide. I want you to focus on this and I want you to remember this slide. It is very important. Just see, focus on this slide, amazing slide. Whenever a cell, an immune cell is damaged, it has one of the key factors that will bring about the activity in a cell. Is the cell active? No, it is not active. Okay. But now it has been activated. Why? Because there is some damage or something. It is activated. One of the things that happens is that in the cytoplasm there is a protein which is called as NF-kappa B. What do you call it as? I am sure you have heard of it. Nuclear factor kappa B. It is there in the cytoplasm. It is there under healthy conditions. It is there in the cytoplasm. Are you okay? Now, in the case of in the vicinity somewhere, or when it receives a cytokine which informs this particular cell that there is a damage there, what this cell is going to do is it is going to transfer the NF-kappa B from the cytoplasm into the nucleus. Are you okay so far? Hello? So, why has NF-kappa B gone from the cytoplasm into the nucleus? Hello, here. Why? Because there is some damage, it has received a message. Some damage has gone. Once it goes inside, then it will go and combine to whatever is the genetic, whatever gene it has to combine, and then this cell will respond by inflammatory responses like necrotic factor alpha, interleukin 1b, interleukin, a host number of cells will be released which will take the signal and participate in the immune system. So, what are we really doing? We are just trying to understand how a neutrophil or an immune cell, on getting a message that something is wrong, it will respond. Are you okay so far? Done? Done? Trying to simplify as much as possible. However, if cortisol comes, now let us see, our cortisol has come. Okay. Now, that cortisol will enter and then it will, what does GR stand for? And then it will give rise to HSP will go away, we have done this already, then it will enter, okay. And then can you tell me, can you just tell me the meaning of this symbol author is giving for us? Receptor itself is binding with what? NF-kappa B. As a result of that, that NF-kappa B does not have the opportunity to talk to the DNA molecule and then give all this response. Are you getting the story? Hello? What am I talking about? This glucose receptor combine with what? NF-kappa B. If this NF-kappa B were to combine here, it will give this response. Now, this NF-kappa B is taken care of by the receptor directly talking to the NF-kappa B, and then you are so the cell is preventing, or cortisol is preventing the immune cell from giving its response. Yet another way. The receptor, it combines with the receptor which is activated with the glucocorticoid. Here it combines with yet another gene. As a result of that, it gives rise to yet another protein called as 1Kb, and that 1Kb also binds to the NF-kappa B. Okay, and these are the different ways in which what is our aim? Our aim is to make sure that the response of an immune cell is kept suppressed, so that the cell does not give rise to the. Okay, so you can read about it. I just, yeah, please.
You mentioned in like small amounts of cortisol initially stimulates the immune system. How does it do that?
Which one? NF-kappa B?
No, initially, like a small amount of cortisol, like enhances.
Okay. It actually, you see, including the permitting the leakage at the level of capillaries, permitting the cell mobility of the cells into the tissues, all those actions at early stages and locally there is facilitated by cortisol. Here we have, we talked about organ transplant. Okay. And then when there is organ transplant, there is always a fear. You know, it is so tricky, you know, because you have to give immunosuppressants. And I put this slide just to give you some of the immunosuppressants that are clinically being used. Okay, I talked about this molecule dexamethasone, prednisolone, and this cortisol. This is naturally occurring. This is naturally occurring, but these are some of the steroid molecules which have been synthesized and which are clinically used. Now, you know, this is tricky, because when you have to give this, okay, so as to make sure that the recipient doesn't reject the organ, but then what have you done to the entire immune system of the, okay, it's highly compromised. I mean, you see the patient is actually, you are really making him susceptible to any kind of infection, but then you have to strike the balance. So now let us talk about we have already spoken about this, let us again revise it briefly. So there is stress. As a result of stress, what does CRH stand? We are in the hypothalamus there. What does CRH stand for? It's in terms of chemistry, what is it? Peptide hormone. It would go via the median amino acid, it will go stimulate the ACTH cells. The ACTH cells follow the arrow. ACTH cells, it has a profound effect on which layer? On which layer? And then as a result of that, it will give rise to what hormone? Cortisol. Cortisol goes in the blood, it is bound to a large protein molecule which is called as transcortin. Okay, you remember that, transcortin. And then what does this red arrow indicate there? Please, can somebody tell me? Inhibitory feedback. So listen to this, do the ACTH cells in the pituitary gland have receptors for cortisol? They do. And similarly, let us follow this red arrow here. Do the CRH containing the neurons in the hypothalamus which secrete CRH, do they themselves have glucocorticoid receptors? They do. Okay. Does CRH have any problem with reference to blood-brain barrier? No, it doesn't have. It's a steroid, so it can get out of the capillary. It can go. So it has no problem. So this cortisol can go here. This cortisol can go there, and then okay. So please bear in mind. Here we have, the author has made it very clear when it comes to the outermost layer, which is what, glomerulosa. Are you okay? In glomerulosa, what is the factor that stimulates? Angiotensin 2. Okay. The second factor which I didn't mention, but I will talk to you, the cells of zona glomerulosa, number 1. It's a source for aldosterone. They are being stimulated by angiotensin 2. Good. They are also being stimulated by yet another factor which is nothing but higher level of potassium ions. So if the potassium ion level goes up, okay, potassium ions, they directly depolarize the cells of zona glomerulosa and bring about the release of aldosterone. Okay, so do appreciate this, the nuances in this diagram. So here we have the hypothalamus. I think you can follow this. CRF, pituitary, we can go to. Very interesting. Can somebody please tell me what is the message in this slide? It's a section through the pituitary of what? Rat. Okay, and what are those brown bodies there? How are they stained? Antibodies against ACTH. You can see the cells, and of course here the rest of the cells most of them will be growth hormone cells. Okay, some of them will be okay. Okay, and then how does we're looking at ACTH cells. So in the previous slide we had ACTH cells. You take one ACTH cell, you put here, okay, and that ACTH cells, you look at the top. Okay, what does it indicate? That CRH is coming? It's coming from hypothalamus. Okay, hypothalamus, median eminence, hypothalamus hypophyseal portal system. Arrive on the plasma membrane. You have this. You have here the 7 transmembrane G protein coupled receptor on which CRH will act, and then it will give rise to a cascading effect, and finally that cell will release ACTH. That ACTH can come in the circulation and grow to the, okay, you can read about this, can talk about this, okay. And finally we come to This is the, we have already done this, but let's do it once again. ACTH comes on the GPCR. Where are we? We are looking at again as the cells. Zona fasciculata, and then we have actually done this, and then cholesterol, ester, etc. Star protein, again look for the star protein, cholesterol, side chain cleavage, and then cortisol will be released into the blood. Okay, with this we'll come to the conclusion of our treatise on cortisol. Okay.